Shubhodayam. Welcome you all to this last session of seventh batch of certificated course in Sanatana Dharma being conducted by Veda Samskruti Samiti in association with Vishwayoga Vidyapith. We started this course on 22nd September 2025 and today we are having the last teaching class. Tomorrow we'll have the exam. So we'll start the day with Vande Mataram by Sharmaji.
Vande Mataram Sujlam Suflam Malayaj Sheetlam Sasya Shamalam Mataram Vande Mataram Shubhra Jyotsna Pulakit Yaminim फुलकुसुमित द्रुमदल शोभनीं सुहासनीं सुमधुर भाषिणीं सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरम्
Vande Mataram. Thank you, Sharmaji, for the good beginning. Dr. Prabhu Garu.
Prarthana.
Sorry. Okay. So we'll have Prarthana. Padmajaji.
We'll start Prarthana by 1 minute meditation and 3 times Omkara. गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमस्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु। ॐ श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे गुरुनैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरो मां पाहि गुरो ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्यदेवो भव अतिथिदेवो भव। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you, Padmajaji, for doing this prayer. Namaste, Prabhuji.
Hello, sir.
So the platform is handed over to Prabhuji to start the webinar, please.
Yeah, just a minute. Are you able to see me clearly? Hello?
Your video is not on. Okay. Now video is on.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Now clear, sir.
Audio also.
Yes, sir.
Okay, friends, today we will have the opportunity or privilege to discuss about the research topics which you can do in your own way. Each one of you can choose any one research topic. Some are possible to be done by many people and rest can be done only by one person. So the idea is that you have learned a lot in this batch in various topics of Sanatan Dharma or Indian knowledge systems. Both are equivalent. So what are the open questions which can be pursued upon as investigation or study or research? So in that context, I'll give you a few directions, but you can come out with your own research topic and you can write a paper after doing research. And that paper can be published in our Vedavani online journal which we are operating. Okay, is this point clear to all of you? So one topic is the Viman Shastra related research. I have given one lecture on Viman Shastra. So there is mechanical engineering, aeronautical engineering, rocketry, chemistry, material science, metallurgy. All these are the topics in Viman Shastra. You can study the text and identify the topic of your interest. You can choose any topic available in that text. You can buy the text or you can download the text. And depending on your own personal background, if you have metallurgy background, or material science background or mechanical engineering background, you can perform study, investigation, and research to identify and produce some new items. For example, new materials or new machines, or at least you can try to understand the mechanisms and explain them in some paper. There's no point in writing introductory papers, because there is a lot of controversy on the Vimana Shastra itself, its origin and its authenticity and its identity. Normally, people are familiar with standard texts like Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Puranas, and people are also familiar with Ayurveda, but people are not so familiar with Vimana Shastra. Most of the people never heard of it, never seen it. Please don't make noise. Somebody is making noise. Nobody has seen this text previously until it is published in 1959. Whereas Ramayana and other things are there for thousands of years. They're re-recorded in manuscripts. So the authenticity of Vimana Shastra has been questioned, saying that it is of recent origin of record, and therefore it is not authentic, etc., etc. So I want to clarify a few things that in around 1911, 1912, this text was dictated in various installments up to 1920s, and then the person who dictated is one Subbaraya Shastri, Togarai Subbaraya Shastri of Anekal near Bangalore. His statue is also kept there. He is an Andhra Brahmin, Telugu speaking, Bharadwaj Gotra. He dictated this to one scribe, Venkatacharya Sharma, who recorded it on old glazed papers. So the story goes to say that this Subbaraya Shastri got this knowledge into his head, into his memory, from his guru, one Bhaskarananda, in some kind of trance. And after that, he started dictating slokas, and they were all recorded in the paper. And those manuscripts are there in large numbers, around 2,000 to 3,000 pages of manuscripts, of which one of them is Vimana Shastra, other is Amshubodhini, other is Kritaka Vajra Nirnaya, other is Aptatva Panyasa, Anhikana Simha Parijata, Rajya Tantra, and so on. Some of them are not traceable today. They are also claimed to have been dictated by him, like Valmiki Ganitam and so on. So some people claim that Subbaraya Shastri himself cooked up the whole text of not only Vimana Shastra, but all of these other texts, because he dictated by closing his eyes. He was not a great scholar to cook up everything, because it requires knowledge of so many different subjects. So people like me took up the method of investigation directly, instead of speculation and guesswork about whether it is true or whether it is not true. So in the investigation directly, we found that many of the formulas given there, like the materials and the many of the descriptions given there in terms of the chemistry composition of materials and metals and alloys, they are real. They are real in the sense they can be reproduced in modern laboratories. I have reproduced around 12 materials, and some others have reproduced a few others. So randomly, it's subject to the decipherment of the names of the input ingredients. So the first such success of decipherment was done in IIT Bombay to produce one Chumbakamani, which had around maybe 16 or 20 inputs, Karkata Chumbaka. They were all metals and plants, minerals, and it was assembled as per the procedure given there in Sanskrit text, and it got produced, and it turned out to be a semiconductor. So similar things have been done by me in metallurgy, alloys, and I have given all the details in the report which I produced. And I have shared that report with you, High Technology in Ancient Sanskrit Manuscript. It's a very popular document in the internet today. You please read that and decide what you want to do further. Because we were stuck with certain problems in the decipherment process. The words could not be deciphered. Many of the words, very few items could be identified and reproduced. So the Vimana Shastra as a whole, it has metallurgy, material science, mechanical engineering, rocketry, and of course, this whatever I told till now is about materials and metals. Whereas if you look at the other topics, we have subjects like mechanical engineering and machine design and rocket design, rocketry, aeronautics, aeronautical design. All these are subjects in which there are detailed descriptions given in Sanskrit to produce those machines and their assembly. The 31 machines are described, out of which about a dozen are electrical and the rest are mechanical and chemical and so on. So this is one area of interest. Is that clear to all of you? So those who want to pursue Vimana Shastra research can give their names. In fact, I am suggesting that each one of the participants should take up one research topic. It can be a collective topic like Vimana Shastra. There are so many different subjects within it. Or it can be an individual topic as well, which can be chosen and pursued. The freedom is given to you, and after pursuing it for 6 months or so, you can write a paper which can be published in our Vedavani online journal. Okay. Now, second topic I would like to suggest is Dharma Yoga as a common framework for all religions and science. As you know, today we have a very big problem of wars and conflicts. Say, for example, India-Pakistan war or even Israel war. All these wars have their roots in religion, though they are territorial in nature. The roots are in religion. What I mean by that is that the religious dogma or ideology is the root in the conflict. Like, for example, Israel, Jews and Muslims, they don't get along at any cost. it is said that for a Muslim to kill a Jew, at least one Jew in his lifetime, is a very holy act. The kind of interpretations which are given in terms of war and violence connected with God and religion is very strange. Because on one side, people are talking about God, and on the other side, they are indulging in violence and war. So, to handle this kind of problem, I had the opportunity in 2015 onwards, or even 14 onwards, to perform inter-religious studies, a research kind of thing. That's why I'm suggesting you this as a research project. Granting that half a dozen religions are there in the globe: Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, Zoroastrianism, Judaism, and various branches of those religions. Buddhism has so many branches: Hinayana, Mahayana, Shintoism, Zen Buddhism, and Jainism also has Digambar Jain and Svetambar Jain branches. And then we have the, of course, Christianity. Christianity stands as number one in the world in terms of followers. We have the Catholic Church and the Protestant Church and the Orthodox Church, and so on. Around 300 denominations are there. And within Islam, we have the Shias and Sunnis, and then we have the others who are de-recognized as Muslims in Pakistan and other countries. Then ideologies are coming from Devband and Bareilly. Both are in India. They are the guiding ideology centers for the whole globe of Islam and Islamism and Islamic terrorism as well. And you know how war is closely associated with Islam right from its beginning. In fact, even Christianity was closely associated with war. It was created to create an empire. Both Christianity and Islam are religions created for creating an empire as the objective. They are imperial colonization models. Now the point is that there are all these religions. You know how Buddhism came into existence. Buddha, Siddhartha left home, and then Jainism was there already before that. And you know how Sikhism came. Guru Granth Sahib got composed after Guru Nanak, Guru Gobind Singh, and the wars to protect Hinduism. Sikhism was created only to protect Hinduism. So in our research project, which we took up for about 5 years, up to 2018, we means I and various scholars of various religions. The Henry Martin Institute is an academic institute. They give degrees like Bachelor of Divinity, Master of Divinity, Doctor of Divinity. It's an institution sponsored and funded by the World Council of Churches, but its objective is academic, and also the main objective is interfaith dialogue and praxis. How to establish praxis and interfaith relations, better interfaith relations. And so for that purpose, they had conducted many events, seminars, workshops, courses. International groups come and attend courses, and they have faculty who can teach each religion. Like there is one person who is a doctorate in Arabic and Quran from Usmania University. There are people who got doctorates in Bible, and there are people who are Hindu scholars, and so there are all kinds of faculty members there who were teaching those respective religions to these courses of international students. And they conducted many meetings and workshops and seminars where I was invited in Kolkata to start with. So I was working on a common framework for religions and science, all religions and science. Because science is atheistic, it stands against all religions, as you know. People like Galileo were killed by church. So there was a lot of effort in different quarters how to have dialogue between different religions through their representatives and arrive at some kind of acceptable. They were simply originally interested only in getting some kind of dialogue and praxis. Praxis means that after coming out of riots and conflicts, how to reconcile that is called praxis. So from that kind of effort right up to interfaith tolerance, interfaith relations, that means the different religions will continue to exist. They will take quite contrary stances, but they will have tolerable relationship so that they will not have violent conflicts. That is the idea. So in my case, I went further in this direction. I have given around 25 to 30 lectures there in different events. Then I decided instead of just doing like this, it is better to go for deeper research to find out if there is any commonness in spite of all the differences and conflicts, because we all know these religions exist and we cannot wish away, because even in the next 100 years or 200 years or 500 years from now on, the whole globe, if you consider as an arena, all these religions are going to exist. And we may be feeling very great about Hinduism because we are Hindus. But the moment you come out of India and go to any other country, you are a minority there, microscopic minority. Even in Dubai, of course, so there are 38% are Indians, out of which most of them are Hindus. But like Saudi Arabia or Oman or Sharjah or any other country or even European countries, you go to Germany, France, Italy, Czechoslovakia, wherever you go, you'll find the Hindus or Indians themselves are in a very small microscopic minority. So only in India they are in majority, and the moment you go out of India, you are a minority, very small minority. So we cannot expect, in future the situation to change drastically. So this situation exists globally. We are talking about, and within India also we have a multi-religious society, and so in this kind of situation, what is the common framework for having good relations and mutual understanding and tolerance and cordial friendship kind of relationship between the adherents of different religions? So what is the common framework for all religions and science? So that science also is accommodable, because blind belief is also very difficult to accept, because faith is repugnant to the spirit of science. So this is a research topic, academic research. So we conducted about 12 different meetings with the scholars of different religions and pursued for many years, for 5 years roughly, to identify what is common, if there is anything common. Of course, if there is nothing common, then we can forget it. We can continue to have the status quo like all the foolish people or indulging in violence. So, how to find a common ground? Because unless there is a common ground, there cannot be any peace or happiness or friendly relationship. So, for that, within Hindu scriptures, with my own background and research, I found that across the spectrum of different Hindu denominations like Vaishnava, Shaiva, Veera Vaishnava, or Shakteya, and so many Shastras and so many denominations and so many cultures within Hinduism in India, I found that Dharma is common. Everybody accepts Dharma. So we wanted to investigate whether Dharma is common with other religions also outside Hinduism. And similarly, another topic it was common within Hindu uh, sub-religions across Hinduism is yoga. Vaishnava, Shaiva, and Shakti, everyone, in every upasana, there is yoga in it. Pranayama is there, and dharana, dhyana, all these are there. And of course, we have Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, and etc. So the research was aimed at identifying the common features and common framework across all these religions, which are along with being scientific. That means no blind belief. So blind belief comes only in the context of belief in God. We don't talk about belief in God, though it may be there on one side. We'll keep it aside. Take only those aspects of religions which are not concerned with belief in God, like ethics, dharma, like concentration, meditation, in yoga. So we found around 18 principles which can be investigated to be common, because when you talk of dharma, the Manu Smriti has clearly defined what is dharma in terms of various ethical values like dhruti, kshama, dama, shaucham, asteya, indriya nigraha, dhir, vidya, satyam, akrodho, dasakam, dharma, lakshanam. So he has defined 10 ethical values, positive emotions. Dhruti, kshama, damaha, shaucham, asteyam, indriya nigraha, dhir, vidya, satyam, akrodha, dasakam, dharma, lakshanam. So in the Yamanemas of Patanjali Yoga Sutras, we have 10 positive ethical emotional principles. Satya, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, Asteya, Aparigraha. First 5 yamas. And Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Isvara, Pranidhana is second 5 niyamas. So the first 5 yamas, Satya, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, Asteya, Aparigraha, they are the ultimate ethical values, universal. Deshakala, Anavachinna, Sarvabhauma, Mahavratam. That's what Patanjali has declared. They are the universal. That means they are acceptable anywhere and everywhere at any time of history. Desha Kala Anavachinna, unaffected, unbroken, Sarvabhauma, sovereign, Mahavratam, oaths, sovereign universal oaths, valid in all times and all places. Satya, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, Asteya, Aparigraha, 5 yamas. So, and he has given 5 niyamas which are desirable. Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Isvara, Pranidhana. But they are not compulsory. But the first 5 are compulsory oaths. The second 5 are not compulsory oaths, but they are desirable, more advanced lifestyle ethical values. So now coming to Bhagavad Gita 16th chapter, he has given 26 divine values, divine ethical principles, a good, and he has also given bad list. In the good list, we have 26. Abhayam, Sattva samshuddhi, jnana yoga vyavasthiti, danam damascha yajnascha swadhyaya tapa, arjavam ahimsa satyam akrodha tyaga kshantir apaisunam daya bhuteshu aloluptvam mardavam hri rachapalam teja kshama dhriti shaucham adroho na abhimanita. So these 26 are obviously inclusive of those 5 plus 5 of Patanjali's yamas and niyamas, and also the 10 of Manu largely. So dropping some of the advanced items, we have identified 18 principles or ethical moral values. Satya, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, like this. Daya, Karuna, Seva, Tapasa, Arjavam means honesty, integrity, compassion, like this. And we made a table. In that table, in the first column, we have given references from the Hindu scriptures. Mahabharata, Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Sutras, Manusmriti, etc. And in the second column, we asked them to give references from Bible. If these principles or ethics are mentioned or ordained in their holy scripture, that is Bible. And they have given. They are there, surprisingly. And third column was Quran. We asked them to quote them from Quran. So they quoted from Quran. So we were shocked. A lot of people were shocked. Even today, a lot of people don't want to accept that ahimsa is there in Quran. It is there, but nobody knows. Nobody bothers. And of course, from Buddha Sutras and Jaina Sutras and from other sources also, we wanted to cover Sikhism, Zoroastrianism. So the point is that these ethical values do exist in all the scriptures of other religions. People may not be following. People are foolish or ignorant or innocent. They don't even read their own scripture. So, but in scripture it is there. That means dharma or ethics is ordained in all religions and scriptures. This is an important conclusion. This is a research outcome. And second thing we found common is yoga. Different forms of yoga are common. I'll take a small break here and I'll come back very soon. Give me 5 minutes. Uh, Yoga is the common factor too, along with dharma or ethics. In terms of the, let us say, the devotion, bhakti yoga. All religions have bhakti yoga. Though in Buddhism and Jainism there is no God, there cannot be any bhakti to a God who doesn't exist. Of course, in Mahayana Buddhism, Buddha himself is worshipped as God. And Raja Yoga, Hatha Yoga is there in all religions. Namaz itself is having a lot of yoga asanas and Surya Namaskara principles in it. And Buddhism and Jainism are totally committed to yoga. Buddha himself practiced advanced pranayama in his tapas when he became Buddha. And you can see all the Jain munis, they're having yoga postures. They're in samadhi state in Padmasana. You can see like this various Tirthankars. They are in Padmasana in deep meditation, samadhi state. And Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, of course, has Bhakti Yoga, Nirakara Bhakti, like Arya Samaj. And Islam also has Nirakara Bhakti, like Arya Samaj. Christianity also has Bhakti, whether Jesus Bhakti or Jehovah Bhakti. So, in principle, the Bhakti Yoga is common, to be found to be common between different religions. in addition to ethics. So we have recorded this whole thing into a book, research outcome, because these people who gave those references from their own scriptures, they were requested to write a full chapter expanding on those ethical values references in their own text, like compassion, truth, honesty, non-violence, non-stealing. So they wrote big chapters, and finally we compiled the whole book. So that proved that dharma and yoga are common across religions. Of course, science also has no problem with ethical values, and also with the yoga, science has no problem. So now the other two things which were added there was the ideologies, the philosophies involved in these religions, polytheism, pantheism, and monotheism. The three Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and also Sikhism and Zoroastrianism, they are monotheistic in nature. They accept only one God. In Sikhism, it is called Ek Onkar, one Om. And in Zoroastrianism, Parsi religion, it's called Ahura Mazda. And in Islam, it is called Allah. And in Christianity, it is called Yehovah. And in Judaism, it is called Yahweh. So the idea of one God is called monotheism. And the idea of having many gods is called polytheism. And the idea of worshipping nature as gods is called pantheism. Worshipping sun, worshipping moon, worshipping earth, worshipping trees, plants, mountains, rivers. So in Hinduism, all the three are integrated. Pantheism, polytheism, and monotheism are well integrated in balance. Like in the Veda, all the natural components, forces are called Devatas, Bhu Devata, Agni Devata, Vayu Devata, Savita Devata, and even plants, Prishniparni Devata, this Devata, that Devata, and then abstract Devatas like Medha, Saraswati, Lakshmi, they are called Devatas only. Akada, and the 800 Devatas may be there, and Rishis, Chandas, Devata comprise each your Veda mantra. Now as regards the monotheism, only one God. In Hinduism also, we have Om, Parabrahman, as only one God. But all these devatas are parts, components of the same Om or Parabrahman. They are not independent. They are windows, like sun. The Gayatri Mantra is Sun, Savita. But it is starting with sun, but ending with Parabrahman. Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. So, the all other devatas also, if you take Shakti, Lalita, or Medha, or Lakshmi, Saraswati, Shanno Devi Saraswati Vajebhir Vajinivati Dheena Mitravato. So Saraswati, we start with Saraswati, but we show Saraswati is the ultimate truth, Om Parabrahman. And so each devata is shown like that. Even Purusha Sukta, Narayana Sukta. Narayana is Narayana Paro Jyotiratma Narayana Paraha. Narayana Param Brahma Tattvam Narayana Paraha. Yacha Kinchit Jagat Sarvam Drishyate Sruyate Piva. Antarbahishcha tat sarvam vyapya narayana sthitah anantam avyayam kavim sam. So it is also mentioned the different names of the same thing. Sa Brahma, Sa Shiva, Sa Hari, Sendra, Sokshara, Paramas, Virat. And also Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. Indram Mitram Varnam Matarishvam Supernova Garutman Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. So the integration of one with many and with nature, that is monotheism, polytheism, and pantheism. So this has happened in the Hindu scriptures, but it has not happened in the scriptures of other religions. They insist on monotheism. And when it comes to creation, nature, they say it is created by monotheistic God principle only. So there is more of integration rather than a multiple window concept. So they don't understand the concept of multiple devatas becoming multiple windows to the same supreme being or God principle of monotheistic nature, which is Om. So this one chapter we have added, I have written it, and one more chapter we have written is on the statements in the Veda, Upanishad, and Bhagavad Gita referring to the Supreme Being, Parabrahman or Om. And the same statements being repeated, of course, in Bhagavad Gita also. And we surprisingly identified that some of those statements are exactly same repeated in the Quran also, in Bible also. Of course, in Guru Granth Sahib, they will be repeated. So this was very shocking. And that is another chapter. I'm not saying the entire Quran is acceptable or entire Bible is acceptable. Please be very clear. We only found very small quotes from those texts with these contents. Those texts contain a lot of war, violence related, and very primitive behavior reflected. Say in Old Testament, the Jewish society is reflected with very primitive, immoral behavior, like they had illicit relations between father and daughters, and so on and so forth. And of course, in the Quran, we have extensive 24 references of violence and war, which is being interpreted by the top scholars that their own internal war in Arabia at that point of time, and they don't they don't allude or refer to any war after that anywhere elsewhere. To interpret the same thing for any other war or any other location at any other time is false interpretation according to these deep scholars of Quran. But such interpretation has resulted in violence and wars throughout the globe till today. So it is like Mahabharata war, if you say that today also you go and kill your cousins and brothers and have a war, it is totally meaningless. So similarly, those things are meaningless to be interpreted today and other locations other than their own place at that point of time. This is what they are saying. I'm not saying. I don't know Quran, I don't know Arabic. And Bible contains two parts, the Old Testament and New Testament. Old Testament contains terrible things. All the destructions of temples, etc., originates from there. Of course, again, that was referring to Egypt and not to India or other countries. But these people are extending that interpretation. And that too for modern times. That doesn't refer to modern times. It refers to that particular point of time. And so there are many such things which are highly objectionable, and that's why there is so much of violence. And conversion is another thing where there are people who want to go on converting. Not that all of them want to convert, but some of them want to go on converting. And that's very aggressive, and that results in conflicts and wars. And finally, it is all aimed at creating an empire throughout the globe, a Muslim empire or a Christian empire. That is the whole objective. And these are the problems, but the positive things are also there, which we could identify as common principles across religions. And so this book was composed and it was released in electronic form. and for having taken up this entire initiative as editor of this book and the coordinator of the whole research project. I was conferred a Doctor of Divinity degree, doctorate in divinity. That degree I received from them on 18th March 2018. Okay, now the research topic here is how to go further. For example, whether the God principle is same or different. I showed the similarities, but there are differences. Substantial differences do exist. But why are the similarities there? So this research ended with showing the common framework. That means similar things are being repeated as if they are copied. And it is not surprising that they could be copied also. And there is nothing wrong in that or surprising, because there's a time gap between each scripture, like between Bible and Quran, there's a lot of time gap. And between Buddha Sutras and Bible, there is a lot of time gap. And between the Gita and the Upanishads, there's a lot of time gap. And between Upanishads and Veda, Samhita itself, Rigveda, is a huge time gap. So to trace the philosophical evolution, the knowledge in the Veda itself was filtered and extracted like butter from milk or buttermilk into the Upanishads. And the knowledge in the Upanishads was traced and filtered and materialized into the Bhagavad Gita. And the same knowledge kept uh, getting repeated in distorted, diluted, or modified form in later texts, including Bible, Quran, and Guru Granth Sahib. But that is why we are able to find the common concepts, quotations, ideas, features. So this is another research topic. How do we go further on this? Is the God same? The God of the Muslims, the God of Christians, the God of Hindus, the God of Zoroastrians, the God of Sikhs is the same or different? Because God himself has to be same. There cannot be 25 different gods. Because every religious scripture says God is one. Even in the Upanishads, in the Veda, it's Ekaha, Sa Brahma, Sa Shiva, Sa Hari, Sa Indra, Sa Akshara, Paramas Virat, Ekam Sat. So if it is only one, then the oldest statement of that oneness is in the Rig Veda itself, and then later in the Upanishads. So the same thing after thousands of years got repeated into the Bible and Quran and Guru Granth Sahib. And in Guru Granth Sahib, they have declared it is Ek Onkar. So there is no issue. We are talking the same thing. So in the Judaism, it is called Yahweh. That means I exist. It is something like Brahman only and Onkar only. And it got mutilated into Jehovah in Christianity, and Jesus was added as Son of God and so on. And in Islam, in Quran, the concept of son was removed. God has no sons. And Jesus was only a human being. And going back to the old God of the Jews or Judaism, which is Yahweh. And but the surprising thing is everybody says one God, but they don't agree with each other. And everybody says God is only one, but he is our God, not your God. So multiple gods end up being generated. And all are supposed to be same, but they are different. So it is very funny. And so this is a research topic, open. So I have given you a lot of discussion on Dharma Yoga as a big area. There are multiple opportunities to understand and discover or conclude draw new inferences. I have given you Viman Shastra, I have given you Dharma Yoga. The third topic which I would like to give to you, of course, as I said, the topic is not uh, compulsory to be followed as same as what I'm telling. You can take any topic of research interest, research value proposition. The third topic will be the evolution of the interpretations of the Supreme Divine Being within Hindu ideologues. We have Advaita, Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, and then we have Suddhadvaita, we have Dvaita Advaita, and we have, and so on and so forth. Around 25 different Siddhantas exist. So you can do research on what is that evolution that has happened from the Sankhya onwards. Sankhya, there is no God, it is called Nirishvara Sankhya. Only Prakriti and Purusha are there. And in yoga, God comes in, Ishvara comes into picture. And finally, in the Advaita Vedanta, it is declared that the Brahman, Om, Parabrahman, itself or himself becomes the Ishvara in contact with Maya. And he becomes, same Brahman becomes Jiva when in contact with Antakarana. That is, this is pure Advaita. So, I'm now delivering series of lectures at Usmania University, Surabharati Samiti on every Friday on the Advaita concepts from Adi Shankaracharya's Prakarana Grandhas. So, how this same concept of Advaita originated in the Rigveda onwards, because Shankaracharya is bringing out clearly the quotations from Rigveda also, and then explaining Advaita. Of course, in the Upanishads, it's very much there. And the Gaudapada Karika of Mandukya Upanishad is the main source of Advaita Siddhanta for Shankaracharya himself. Gaudapada was the grand guru of Adi Shankaracharya himself. So, how that Advaita derived from Veda into Upanishads, into Brahma Sutras and Bhagavad Gita, and how it has evolved, that itself can be a research topic. And how that was extended by Ramanujacharya into Visishtadvaita. And what is the difference except personification? Is there any difference? Because Parabrahman is impersonal. But when you personify, it becomes Narayana. And the entire Visishtadvaita Siddhanta is based on the personified Brahman. And the same thing happens later in other Suddhadvaita, Radha Krishna Bhakti is brought in a big way by Vallabhacharya. And Dvaita of Madhvacharya also is based on Bhakti. Bhakti is possible only when the Bhakta and Deva are two different entities. So how Advaita evolved, modified or improved from the Rigveda to the Upanishads to the Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutras within the Advaita environment, ecosystem, and how it finally evolved into Visishtadvaita and how it evolved into Dvaita, all these are research topics in the Vedanta context and originating from Sankhya and Yoga right in the beginning. So this is another area of research topics, and then I can give you a few more research topics of your interest. Like Agnihotra research topics yesterday, they were discussed by you, by our speaker, Brahmadat. And we have research topics within yoga itself, how yoga evolved from the Rigveda onwards, Yajurveda onwards, into the Upanishads and into the Yoga Shastra text, the Yoga Darshana, Patanjali, and how Patanjali has summarized the entire yoga system knowledge of his time into his Yoga Sutras, and how the other later text, Hatha Yoga Pradipika, I covered, and I covered the Yoga Upanishads. You can see my videos in YouTube. Just give my name, CSR Prabhu, you'll get a lot of Yoga Upanishads text also. So you can do research on how yoga has evolved from one framework to the other over the centuries and millennia. And of course, the other topics of interest are like Ayurveda, how modern science and Ayurveda are related or not related. Like Hegde, B.M. Hegde is an expert in this topic. And if you are interested in topics like Natya Shastra or Rasa theory, we have other speakers who spoke on that. Of course, a big topic of Puranas, how the thought of philosophical nature originating from the Veda went all the way into Puranas. Puranas appear to be a totally different domain of Hinduism, but they claim their origin in the Vedas. They always refer to the Vedas with great reverence. And how you can show that connection, say, between Bhagavad Purana and, say, Vedas themselves or the Upanishads, or say between Shiva Purana, Linga Purana, how all these Puranas are traceable to the Vedas or the Upanishads. This is a very big topic of research. Puranas, I'm not touching much, and of course there are other topics like Vastu and architecture, modern architecture and Vastu, how they are related or connectable. And we have the engineering, modern engineering and ancient engineering, civil engineering, and Vastu. Like we have one book called Manasara. 12-storied buildings are being described there, how to construct. The book is available even now. So, how they have constructed all those big, big buildings in the past, and how that is all in Sthapatya Veda, Shilpa Shastra. And this is the basis for temple construction, Agama Shastra, which is the Shastra related to temples construction. Okay, so now I have covered a very broad platter of topics, and you can come out with your own topic as well. And I think I'll stop here and invite interaction.
Thank you, sir. Please ask questions, if any, by raising your hand. So one of the takeaways of this course is that if you do research, it will be of great service for Sanatana Dharma as well as for the country also. So please take it seriously. And now any questions, please?
I also want to make an announcement that we are planning to launch one postgraduate diploma of 1 year on Sanatana Dharma and Indian knowledge systems. We are in the process of creating the syllabus and trying to achieve collaboration with some existing universities, like some universities like Karnataka Sanskrit University in Bangalore is showing interest, and also Samskruti University in Mathura is showing some interest. So that will be the more advanced course than what you are attending, which is 4 months each, level 1, level 2. That will be 1 year. It will be very similar to this. Maybe some of these can be upgraded to that. We are still examining that, and in the process of setting up a body for this purpose called Sanatana Dharma Vidyapit. So just I'm trying to make an announcement to this effect that postgraduate diploma in Sanatana Dharma and Indian knowledge systems is being designed and being carved out and going to be launched soon, along with the collaboration with other universities. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead with questions.
Good morning, sir. No, sir.
Yeah, Namaskar.
Sir, there can be research topic on Jyotisha and Vedic mathematics also.
Yeah, definitely. Jyotisha is a very big question mark. It has got two parts. One is the Godadhyaya, which is astronomy, positional astronomy, observational astronomy. There is no issue on that. It was the parent of the modern astronomy. But the second part, the Hora, that is the calculations of the birth charts, horoscopes, and the planetary positions and their effects on human life. That is a very big question mark, whether it is real or fake.
Yeah.
So that is a research topic, yes. Vedic mathematics is already well established. There's not much left out, I think. There are
Section.
there are a lot of mathematics texts other than so-called Vedic mathematics. There are Bhaskara, Varahamihira. They have done extensive contributions in mathematics area, like for integer equations, continuous
Yeah.
fractions, calculus. So you can study those things and write papers or books.
So
Next.
about one normal argument that we normally had, that whenever Rahu and Ketu are talked about, people think that those are all superstitions, and they start drawing the moon orbit and earth orbit on a paper, piece of paper, and say try to prove that when the three in a straight line, then eclipse occurs. But it cannot be actually, sir, drawn on a paper, because they are not in on the same plane. Moon's orbit is casting about 5 degrees angle with the Earth's orbit, so that those nodes are actually called Rahu and Ketu. As a result, on a particular month only, when the sun is on either on Rahu or Ketu, eclipse will occur. Like here now, I think this year
No,
it is.
it's well known. They are shadows. They are not hard planets. They are shadows.
These are actually nodes, the intersection nodes, the intersection between two planes, and that also wobbling because of the not the actually conservation of angular momentum. They could have been fixed, but actually they are they are not fixed. There is some wobbling effect. So as a result, they actually move, and that is in the opposite direction to all other other heavenly bodies or planets and sun and moon. In the opposite direction. That too in the 18 months. 18 months per 30 degree when the per Rashi. So it takes 18 years total.
Yeah. It's a vast subject, and we have not gone deep in our course. Only one lecture or two lectures were there on the Jyotisha. It's a vast subject. It is being open-ended, but you require a lot of patience and mathematics background to take up that. Otherwise, you cannot understand anything. Any other person or any question or point or any statement or comment anybody wants to? Because we are expecting all of you to do research and all of you to write papers. Give your research topic. After finishing this lecture, you can give your own research topic, which you would like to do research and come out with a document or a paper or a report. Anybody has some personal interest on particular topic? It can be any topic, need not be the topics which I described. It can be any topic whatsoever.
Dr. Radha Kumari, would you like to respond?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Actually, I am already working on a paper and which is related to education system in ancient period, and the period I am referring to is Vedic period, where I am trying to prove that education was liberal during those times. And liberal, for me, liberal is it was inclusive, it was not parochial, not confined to certain sections of society. And it was only a later development when we see that Yagyopavit or Upnayan Sanskar that got restricted to some sections, or we call Dvij. So I'm trying to prove that, and the education was diverse, scientific, and uh, other parameters as well for ancient times. So I'm taking some text like Apastambha's Grahya Sutra, Dharma Sutra, and Grahya Sutra, Mahabharata, so many Upanishads, and some modern texts like R.K. Mukherjee's book on education system, A.S. Altekar's book on education system, ancient education system. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking some proofs from modern times as well, where this Dharmpal's book, who is actually speaking about the education system or school system of British period, 18th, 19th century, and I'm trying to prove that as a continuum of the ancient period. So that's what my work is, and
Yeah,
that
excellent idea. The gender-based issues are also there.
yes, sir,
Uh,
yes, sir. I am working on that as well. I will be including that.
yeah, originally it is said that the females also were having Upanayinam and learning the Vedas, and later it got changed into the marriage itself becoming equivalent to
Yeah.
Upanayinam for
Mm.
females.
So
Because during the
I got very few proofs of that. There are one or two texts where this opinion for females is also allowed. Otherwise, in Manusmriti, I found that then it was seen that marriage is only the opinion for them.
no, in marriage there is a part which is same as in Upanayana for the female. In our modern marriage, say for Andhra Brahmins also, the girl, the husband will tie one rope made up of munja darbha on her body. So that grass, the rope made of that particular grass. And that is exactly what is done in the Upanayana also for the boy also. So the Upanayana is merged into marriage for females after a point of time
Hmm.
in history.
Okay, sir, I'll talk to you about this
Yeah.
ritual. Uh,
Yeah. So the is a good topic, but a lot of people have misinterpreted and written all kinds of nonsense in the past,
hmm,
attacking Sanatan Dharma
hmm,
as a whole. What
hmm.
has to be understood and remembered is that it's a very large period of time, thousands of years.
Yes,
So during that, so many evolutionary changes will happen
yes,
automatically, naturally
hmm,
also.
yes.
And you cannot expect same thing to continue by force all the time. This is more a
Hmm,
open, more flexible system, not like the Islamic or other very rigid systems of
hmm,
Sharia law and so on. Not like that. So
hmm,
this is it's being revised, like the Smritis were revised after Manusmriti, so many other Smritis came.
hmm,
And now Constitution of India is like equivalent of one of the Smritis of modern times.
hmm,
So after the Manusmriti in the beginning, 10,000 BC or whatever.
hmm,
So the point is during this period, process of evolution, a lot of changes will come, which are time to time different. Like during the Muslim invasions, the females were kept under parda and they were not allowed to go out and they were not allowed to sit along with men because of security reasons. The girls were being
hmm,
abducted openly
hmm,
and they were kidnapped. So for various reasons, the females were kept in isolation and not allowed to go. Say, my mother, she never studied. She was not allowed to study beyond fourth class.
hmm,
And I'm talking 1930s or 20s and so on. So later on, females studied up to maximum SSC or later on up to BA. Now, of course, males and females are considered as equal.
hmm.
So there is a lot of contextual dependence on the customs. They need not be attacked.
Yes, yes, yes.
So the kidnapping, abduction doesn't happen today. So you can have equal status for boys and girls in schools and colleges and offices. But it has got its own negative impact in the family welfare and the children upbringing because if the mother is not there at home. Small children, babies, and later on how they are going to grow up. Only the grandchildren or ayahs they have to bring up.
Definitely.
So that is impacting the character and the well-being of the children when the mother is not there whole day.
Hmm,
So is that correct? Because another thing is professionally in the olden days, the husband and wife together perform the same profession. Like even today in agriculture, husband and wife both will do the same profession. They will go together and their work and come back. But if husband and wife are in two different professions, it becomes very difficult to coordinate and maintain the family welfare. And even in the ancient times, in the caste system was very rigidly followed. Like Draupadi was in charge of the uh, palace and kitchen and inventory and other things in the kingdom. She is as part of the royal function. Not that she was going and doing some other job, totally unconnected. So similarly, the in the Gurukulas, the Vedic Pandits who were Brahmanas who were teaching Vedas, their own wife was the person who was running the kitchen and the food and shelter arrangements for the students who are attached to that teacher.
And they were called Guru Matas.
Yeah. So it is an integrated approach, which is more scientific and more productive and more welfare, and that will give more sense of well-being than this totally unconnected behavior, and sometimes they're transferred and families almost broken. It's very
Yes,
painful.
I do
So,
understand.
yeah, all this is due to westernization.
Hmm.
The Western interventions, the British intervention, and later on the American interventions are, simulating
Actually,
American way of life.
hmm.
And then females becoming too independent and to the point of no return, and that resulted in divorces in large scale and family breakup. The children are the worst affected.
Hmm.
So that's why sometimes we feel that what Manu said was true. Natu stri swatantrya arhati. So a woman is dependent. Sometimes a woman is basically dependent on the father in initial stages and the husband later stages and son in the last stage. So which is quite natural. Otherwise, if she is independently acting of father and husband and son, then there is no family at all. She is somewhere, like in America today. The other day, I was telling to one of my friends that my son talks to me once in a week, though we are living in the same house. Then that man said, "You are so lucky you are staying with your son and talking to him once in a week." But there are mostly parents and sons are so separated, they speak one each other only once in a year. They'll be staying far away, in the various countries, and once in a year they may meet or they may not even meet. So this kind of family breakup today, the families' conditions are not good compared to the olden days. There is no joint family, and the children are badly affected, and the old people also have no support. All these are the negative features of Western way of life. In the West, there's no family concept. Children never take
Actually,
care.
so the misguided notion of empowerment.
No, not just that. I have gone seen in Germany and US and all these places, and my relatives live in US. What is happening there is that the homes are there, old age homes. So all people, even here, it is happening to some extent. All the old people are sent to old age homes. Even here, most of the parents are in old age homes, and children are abroad. And it is not definitely a comfortable position for the old people at the time of fag end of their life. They can die anytime. They live in old age homes, and they die there in the old age homes like beggars. When they have rich children who stay far, far away. And this is very common in the West because there is no family value at all. There is no concept of family, and the government is supposed to pay for the expenses of all the old people. That's the reason why they have recession. The government pays pension to each and everybody. So it's very difficult. It's here the family is independent. It's not dependent on government. Family itself has to support each other. The son has to support the father. So these things, and then also children upbringing in US, for example, or in Europe also, the children leave the home after the age of 12 or 14. They go wherever they want to go. They will do whatever they like because the father and mother say, "You get lost. We don't need you. We don't want you." So that fellow will go and do something or the other, and that's why you never find highly educated children in American society. all the educated, highly educated classes in the American society are not Americans. They are foreigners, like Indians, Chinese, Iranians, and so on. So the local Americans, they don't have interest in higher education. They cannot. And even the unwed marriages are very common in America. At the age of 12, 14, pregnancy comes, unwed pregnancies. And they will, of course, abort, or sometimes they deliver also, and father is not known who is the father. And so mostly it is single parent. It's a terrible situation. That way, sometimes we feel our Manusmriti is much better, more intelligently designed than what are all the happening today. And drugs and guns and divorce is very common. So nobody marries in the first place. If they marry, the marriage will not sustain because there is adultery, there is no principle of chastity, brahmacharya is not there. All kinds of social evils have come up already in the West and also in India to some extent. Yeah, next.
Sir, may I comment?
Yeah.
One thing to Rasa Kumari ji.
Ji, sir.
Actually, you named Dharmapal ji. You know that Dharmapal ji's that line is being followed by one Pawan Gupta. He is in SEED, Society. He's running Society of Integrated Development of Himalayas. They are doing extensive research on education system. So
Pawan,
Pawan Gupta. Pawan Gupta, and his wife Anuradha Gupta. They live in Mussoorie.
okay.
So I can give your contact number. So we can exchange. I mean, through Colonel Sahab will exchange our numbers, and I will give you his number.
What is he
Okay.
doing?
Actually, he has this Society for Integrated Development of Himalayas, and in the different part of the around Mussoorie normally, then he is extending different villages. They run different education system based upon the ancient Indian education system and
And
education system where the type of education that the students will ask questions to teachers in the class, not the opposite. And that way, then according to the need of the question, teacher will then explain all these things like this actually. So it is very informal kind of. I attended one of two. It is very freely. Every student come up with their learning of the thing. They also have to read themselves. They read it so that they can ask questions in the class.
But at what age the students ask questions?
Yeah, from the very beginning, they acquire that capability and confidence from the very beginning. They get involved, totally involved in the class. Nobody gets, the teacher is telling something and people are thinking something else. That doesn't happen at all.
Oh,
I've seen it.
very interesting. So, but the ancient system was involving Vedic mantras chanting also, because in the early days of life, only memory is sharp to learn
yes,
chanting.
Karan.
Otherwise, you cannot learn chanting at older ages. And after chanting is learnt, the interpretation of those what you have chanted will be understood if you learn grammar and prosody and other things. That is how the Vedic system was there.
Yeah.
And there are no books. Everything is in the mind.
Yeah. Sir.
Yeah, okay. Anybody else? Anything? 5 minutes we have left here.
Sir, namaste, sir.
Yeah.
I'm Gayatri.
Yeah.
I want to do research on Vimana Shastra, particularly.
Yeah.
And one more thing. With regard to the religious coexistence, there was a competition in 2008 that maybe throughout the world, I think. And we have developed a model through which we can attain the coexistence of each and every religion in this world itself. And in that competition, as we have produced a paper, we have given that paper to that organization, in which Khan Academy has got the first prize. And others too were other papers. and they were given $1 million of assistance to Khan Academy. So I am having that model. I will produce that model to you, and if we can develop that model from beginning, from the scratch, or from the limited area to widen the process, then we can achieve that coexistence of all the religions without any wars and conflicts. So that is one model I have. And personally, I want to do research on Vimana Shastra, sir. And
Sure.
and based on our richness of Sanskrit, if at all it is possible to develop the data structures of this Sanskrit language, then many people are saying that Sanskrit is the friendly language for computers, making use in computers. So, if it is possible, we can develop such a system so that it can be spread through all through the world. So that is also one of my ideas. So
Okay, very good. I'll be happy to associate myself with your ideas, all the three ideas.
I need your guidance, sir. Fully,
Sure.
I depend on you only, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
I work for CBIT, sir.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you may be knowing me. You know me already.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Last week also,
Yeah, we
15
met
days
last
back.
week, yeah.
In
wonderful.
academy we met.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, next.
Thank you.
Thank
Sir,
you.
sir, if you permit, we'll have Prarthana and then continue
Yeah,
the bill.
okay, okay.
Padmajaji.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः अपुत्राः पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधना सदना सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतं सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान् मा प्रमदः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु स्वस्ति
Swasti. Thank you, Padmajaji, for the Swasti Vachika slokas. Now we'll raise for the national anthem. Sharmaji will chant the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलग तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हिंद
Jai Hind. Thank you, Sharmaji. Now, if anybody wants to ask any further question, please go ahead.
I think nobody's there. Let us close. Yeah.
Sir, I would like to convey our thanks, sir, for this excellent session, last session. With the blessings of our gurus and the Lord, we have completed this course. Of course, tomorrow is the exam. So this course started on 22nd September. And about you, sir, you are a Jivan Mukta. I just, it will be funny to introduce you at the end of the session, at the course, but I would like to call you only as a Jivan Mukta. You have taught us how yoga can be contributing to Jivan Mukti. It's not just like a exercise through listening to some music or something like that, but it's ultimate Jivan Mukti one can lead to. And your profound knowledge of not only Shruti, Smriti Puranas, but science, technology, politics, history, international affairs is really astounding. And I have told earlier also, your life itself is a message for all of us. My pranams at your feet, sir. Now I will hand over to Kalnar Babu Garu.
Thank you, Venkat Garu. Thank you so much. Let us, on behalf of all students, today is the last day. Let us thank Prabhu Garu and all gurus who have guided us in this basic course and given us inspiration to further continue the studies. This course is just a basics, and we have a long way to go to learn, get this knowledge. So, he is the academic director who has streamlined the process of flow process of the learning of this Vedic literature. And also now, as he said, that we are going for a PG diploma in the process of finalizing it. And also we have one IKS course, which is starting from 8th February. So all of you are welcome to register, and then there are some topics which are there are many topics which are not covered in this basic course, especially the course which are like medicinal plants, Ayurveda, and agriculture. Some specific course, core subjects. So you all can get knowledge of that also. And we are going to have an advanced course of this SE course with the same topics being covered in detail. So let us thank Dr. CSR Prabhu Garu and his team for guiding us.
Let us all thank Colonel Babu for conducting this course such an efficient manner. Only he can do it. But for him, we would not have been able to organize and execute this course, even though the speakers are there. Thank you, Babu Garu, for your commitment, discipline, and dedication. We all trying to learn from you how to do things in such perfect manner. So, but for you, these courses would have never been materialized or success.
Thank you, Prabhu Garu. Thank you so much. Now, Venkat Garu, please go ahead.
Unless anything is to be told, asked, we can close the session.
Yeah. Close the session.
Okay, sir.